All right. I'm gonna wait a little bit of time here to send this out. I'll probably send it out tomorrow. But I think that propaganda is a hell of a drug. And I think there's always this idea of no quarter given to the other side. You know? Sorry. Well, the more particular, there's so many examples that you can give, whether it's the war in the Pacific or even the advancing Red Army into Germany. In the attack on Berlin. You'll get elements of truth and then a lot of lies and manipulation to keep people on your side. And I think that, you'll see that more and more, not only on the international level where it's just like, well, the Chinese want to destroy the United States or something like that. Or, I'm surprised they really haven't ramped up a lot of the real big hatred, the, yellow peril stuff with Christine Fang, aka Fang Fang. I'm surprised it really hasn't built up in the same way. But I think that there is a lot of that fear that is out there. And I think that the propaganda machine, or propaganda machines, plural, are very good at creating that fear in different segments of the country, and indeed, in different parts of the world, in different parts of the earth. When the end of the world in 2012 really came about, the History Channel had their documentaries about continuing to the fights for oil and everything else would happen. The the destruction of everything, of course, the movie 2012 as well. And of course, once again, it didn't really happen that way. I think that it's so easy for propaganda to happen that it creates that idea in your mind that everything is going to be destroyed. It can be very subtle, and it can be very damaging. I still hold some of that propaganda and some of that paranoia within me. I think that, dare I become more SJW-like, but I've internalized it maybe a little bit too much, and it's still in there. But I think that we need to kind of wake up to the realities of things, and realize that a lot of it is propaganda and fear-mongering, I feel like, the propaganda machine is going to go about to really promote a war in Iran in particular. And of course, Iran, a country that does not have anywhere near the levels of power or control that the United States does, is seen as a threat. And the reality is it just isn't. I don't care what anyone says. Iran does not serve the threat that people think it does. Hezbollah does not serve the threat that people think it does. Now, of course, I know people are going to say, well, they did attack, that country in South America, Hezbollah did. Okay, yeah, that did happen. That was, a fair amount of time back, but I don't think they are, they want to pursue some sort of terroristic threat. I think that a lot of that comes from more outright Salafists, and I'm being very specific here. I know Islam, once again, people are starting to bring up the separation between Sunni and Shias. Oh, I'm not ready to go down that road and to make a fool of myself and try to say I understand that, because I don't. I will always try to be like, no, I'm an idiot, and you should never completely take what I say 100% seriously. I say that as a disclaimer here now, 5 minutes on, but still, please do not take what I say completely seriously. I'm just saying my opinion. And I do that for my own safety, but I also do that for your safety so that somebody doesn't get caught up. Um, the propaganda machine is strong. Same thing where, we build up this idea that, oh, well, BLM is going to take over everything and rah, 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 rah. I don't believe that. Like I say, even, under the evil Soviet Union, a lot of the people still practiced Russian Orthodox beliefs, They still had wakes. They still had more of those traditions that were still there within the people, even in the 1970s and 80s. So these ideas didn't go away. They just simply weren't encouraged. Yeah, and that came from, of course, the extremism that did happen in the early days. And I say, look, I'm trying to be as good faith as I can. I know people are going to say, but Hezbollah did this and Iran did this. I know. But in general, they are not a threat to you. They aren't. I don't even say that as saying, oh, well, they're all just peace-loving people. No, what I'm saying is that, look, the real threat to you are people that live within this country. The real threat are people that believe that somehow the U.S. needs to, roll back the progress that was made, whether it's unions, whether it's the 5-day work week, whether it's whatever. We need to roll those things back because, the threats are so immense to America. Life expectancy is going down. The the COVID vaccines are not coming out fast enough. It's getting very, very tense. And people don't want to deal with that. It's easier to believe simplified scaremongering than actually looking at the details. I get that. I get it. And I've fallen into that trap many, many times. The thing is, I don't have the luxury of that because I'm 36 years old. Or I will be 36. And, they don't need older, flabby guys like me out there. And they don't really care necessarily. As long as I work and continue to feed the system, they don't really care, Ugh, what the hell was I talking about? Basically is, this idea that no quarter is going to be given to the enemy, whoever you declare your enemy to be, that you will be destroyed. And there will be nothing, they will eradicate you. And that sort of fear-mongering does nothing other than ensure that you're going to fight to the last man and all that sort of thing. And you will create your own destruction, because that's all that rhetoric does. All that fear-mongering and whatnot creates that. But I don't think the United States has the stomach, or, will never become like a Nazi Germany. And I know, once again, the United States, there are individuals and there were organizations that did help create Nazi Germany. Yes, absolutely. But I don't think the U.S. will become like a Nazi Germany or a Berlin sort of factor, because there are enough people who don't want to do that. And there are enough people who are going to say, screw you, I'm not going to do that. I think that that's the case. That it's not even me being some patriotic person or being some, oh yes, the American people will never fall into fascism. Look, I'm just saying is that there are going to be enough people who are going to be like, screw that, I'm not going to do that. You know, and also there are people with firearms. So if you do have these flying, court martials and whatnot that happened in the late era of Nazi Germany and hanging people, with piano cord by saying, I was a traitor and all this, people are just going to say, no, fuck you, bam, and they're going to shoot those folks, But beyond my schizophrenia, beyond my spurgy ideas, is propaganda is a motherfucker. And you have to be willing to look beyond this. You have to be look beyond the propaganda and discover what's really going on. And that's important to do. It's hard, and research is can be hard to do, but I think it's important for you as an individual to find out what you really believe and what you're willing to put yourself behind. But with that, I think that's all I have to say. I don't know. I hope once again is that these videos, if nothing else, for my subscribers to say, maybe it's just preaching to the choir to y'all, but hopefully it's something to say, hey, maybe I will look into what's going on and not fall under propaganda, and fall under the fear mongering. And that's all that matters. Like I say, I'm somewhere in between everything. So hopefully you can take, some idea for this and, take it with a grain of salt. I think I'll keep it there. Like I say, have a good one. Goodbye.